you let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
Everybody, welcome. It is a Wednesday night. Feels like a Thursday night for some reason. It's a Wednesday night in November in New York. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and I gotta tell you, this is one of my favorite nights out of the year. It really is. It has been for a long time, even beyond the years that Thanksgiving Eve meant I would finish up with whatever I was doing, most likely the show, and then head into Yonkers or something like that, and hang out on McLean Ave with some of my friends out there. And then there was other Thanksgiving Eves where a friend was hosting it as his apartment. Our buddy Steve, that was a fun Thanksgiving Eve, and ever since then we've had just wonderful guests, and it's just ended up being just really relaxing nights. I love the night before Thanksgiving for some reason, and because it's an eve of any sort, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be Thanksgiving, it could be 4th of July, whatever. That means J Gulinello, it usually gets an invite. Jay, I hope you know that you don't always have to be here. Well, that's not you. You don't always have to be here.
I'm not here.
So anyway.
I'm already gone.
It's me. So anyway, Jay.
Great show, guys.
Good night.
This is a lot of fun.
In the darkness. So, welcome to Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me. I think about it as they approach, and I'm like, I wonder, because I wouldn't think of asking, but whenever I get the invite, it's always an honor, and it's a pleasure to spend it with you and the audience, and it has become a bit of a tradition.
It really has.
Probably accidental at first, but now it's a thing, I think.
Yeah, it actually was a coincidence.
Yeah.
You realize we've been racking up quite a few Eves, and and now it's just like, why the hell not?
Yeah, we're 4 years into this crazy experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, from my perspective, you've been in a lot longer, but I've been here for just over 4 years now. So.
Well, you got 16 more to go.
Okay, great.
I'll wait for you. I'll just
hold on.
Hold my ground.
I'll be right there.
I just got a couple of things real quick. We're going to be uploading about a really awesome 14 minutes from last night's Flipside. That's going to be premiering on Friday around 5:30 or something, and it was just a really wonderful. I mean, did you watch it afterwards?
I catch so many shows, but Frank, you have to know something about me. Sometimes I will go into rabbit holes. Anybody who knows me knows this happens, right? Somebody asks me a question, or I'm working on a client or something, and then something sparks something, and I go into something, and the next thing I know, it's 1 a.m. This is how I went through grad school. I would I'm going to start my paper. I'm just going to get the outline. Like 4 hours later, I'm like, it's 1 a.m. The paper's half done. I'm like, this is great. That's what's happening to me lately. And so I've missed a few shows. And so I did not actually get to catch last night. I was deep in a rabbit hole last night.
Well,
till
I'll ask you what the rabbit hole is, but first.
Okay.
What on the flip side of things, after the end credits, we had my friend Alberto on with me and Anthony, and once the end credits rolled, he started taking out these presents he brought.
Frank and Jay, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone. Sending much love.
Wow, look at that. See, that was really
chaos
nice.
Has ensued.
I left that. Well, that was nice. That's the first time we ever got interrupted by one of that. That's from Shotzi.
I gotta now start to remember that this is a thing, and we have to shut up when that happens, right?
Well,
This is the idea.
Well, I'm really was just going to designate this for like certain segments.
Oh, it's a free for all.
but for tonight, it's going to be a free for all.
Okay.
So yeah, if you send a super chat with $10 or more to quitefranklysuperchat.com, specifically that one, it will pop up on the screen immediately, which is chaotic and fun. And
you could be very inappropriate in a very inappropriate time.
Yeah,
I mean it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not going. That's not the assignment.
It's not an invite, but
I understand that this is one of the things that we're asking. Anyway,
yeah.
Alberto, he brings on this 17th century katana. Okay,
so I caught the beginning of the show, and I met him at the Christmas party one year, I think, right? Really?
And he was at a jamboree.
Oh yeah. That's right.
He was at last year's Christmas party,
That's
and
right.
then this jamboree.
Very nice guy.
Wonderful. And so he brought it. It's not just the katana, because there was this small, I forgot what he called the smaller blade. It's like a sibling kind of a blade where it's smaller, but it was made from the same exact person, the same place, as the same style and markings and all that stuff. And it was separated by continents, but he just kind of, he found them in different, like halfway around the world.
Whoa.
They came together, reunited. They were both made in 1640.
Like Voltron.
Dude.
Wow.
It was awesome.
That's so cool.
It was great. I didn't expect him to have show and tell. I said, damn.
Yeah.
We could have done that for the second, but it didn't. It was perfect. So we're going to put that out there as a highlight on Friday if you don't see it before then. But if you do want to see it, the link for that time-stamped, the time-stamped link for the Flipside is in a pinned comment of last night's show on YouTube. And I think I shared it on Telegram and elsewhere. So enjoy that. It was really awesome.
Wow, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to have
cool.
Alberto back on. I'm going to try to get him in January, after the holidays calm down.
Yeah. Is he going to be around for the Christmas party this year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'll go live for a little bit on the 13th and just pull people in for 5-10 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy.
We learned so much about how to do that during the the fiasco that was the VIP night.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
There's things we have to learn. What was your rabbit hole last night? It's probably something boring.
Well, I guess it depends on who you are.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't have been a rabbit hole if it was boring to me.
I won't say that. It's either like JFK or it's like some kind of the theories behind a certain kind of amino acid.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's all very fair.
It's like I say, it's one or the other.
Yeah, it could have been either of those. I did do a deep rabbit hole on the 22nd because I do that every year. On the anniversary, I have to watch some things and learn something that I didn't know, before. But no, last night actually it was about two different things. One thing sparked from a conversation you had on Monday, and the other just happened to connect with it. So it was about hypoxia, lack of oxygen, and brain injury, and also a new theory on what creates microbiome disruptions. And rather than chasing like specific bacteria and take a probiotic to try to increase your good bacteria, right? It's about the environment that is in the gut. A hypoxic environment was actually positive for the gut. That generates a positive environment on its own.
Let's interrupt the crap out of Franklin J.
So keep going.
So unlike the brain, which needs oxygen, the microbiome actually prefers a hypoxic environment, a low oxygen environment. And when that is shifted through a variety of poor lifestyle choices, you get the inappropriate bacteria start to multiply in an oxygen-rich environment. So I wrote a whole paper on it. It's coming out on Substack soon about a new theory on microbiomes. And it started off because I was thinking about anoxic brain injury from the conversation you had on Monday. So just like a whole thing.
With Megan Dauber?
Yeah. I immediately, in the middle of your interview, I immediately went to the research and I was like, let me see about this, let me see about that. And then that rabbit hole bled over into Tuesday, and that's why I missed the show on Tuesday.
If there's anything that you find that's worthy of exploring, or you want me to link you up with Megan or pass something along to, I'm sure she'd be appreciative.
Absolutely.
I
mean, look, the way I look at it is you can never have too many options. You can never consider too many things when you're dealing with anything. So, I have my theories on a lot of different things, and none of them are complete because that's just the sort of way it works. You start off with a hypothesis and you work it through. But yeah, so that's what it was. It started off with just hypoxic brain injuries, and then it turned into a whole thing on a theory of the microbiome from a PhD that I met while she was getting her PhD, and she put out in a newsletter, and it was just weird serendipity that it came on Tuesday. And then when I was, listening to that interview you did on Monday, I was like, I'm going to see if I can put these two things together. And that's what they became. So
okay, well,
see,
I'm interested in that, and as you can see after Monday, the biggest thing about the show with Megan Dauber is just that her work right now, just in getting this journey chronicled publicly, is that it's just drawn so many people into her sphere of influence that are all going through the same thing, went through the same thing, have recovered, all everything. So obviously, this is a topic that a lot of people are interested in, and they're dealing with it in varying degrees of in public or private, whatever. Yeah. It's crazy, but that was a great episode, and anything you got, send my way.
You got it.
So we got to do some news that I think is just crazy, and it's making me nuts.
Okay, that's fair.
I got some other stuff in the second hour for Thanksgiving. Like, I saw this video of people going shopping for Thanksgiving food in, I think, 1981.
Oh, cool!
And I want to show you the price points and talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
And then of course we'll just take calls and have a good time. I do want to announce that we have a winner of the Keto Brainz Thanksgiving giveaway.
Oh boy!
Molly sent it to me not too long ago. It was a wonderful competition once again. This is a great audience, and so many people in the audience now put this in their food and their all types of drinks now. I'm just glad you guys like it, and if you ever still want to try it, the greatest nootropic out there. Here's the winner of the bag of Keto Brainz, the vibration plate, the peptides, the electrolytes, the creatine.
That is a crazy prize package.
She even threw in a bottle of whiskey and elk jerky. That's over $500 worth of stuff, and the winner is Mark McGirt. So happy Thanksgiving to Mark. Molly's going to be sending all that to you. She has all your information. Congratulations, Mark. Fantastic.
You want me to tell you now or later that that's a pseudonym I use when I creep on the show?
You have a brother named Mark, right?
I do. Yeah.
So there you go. It's probably that's what it is. There's some kind of
I wasn't very creative. I was like, I'll just use one of my brother's names.
There's fraud going on now. Oh my gosh. Okay. So here's what we got. I have a little bit of news out of DC, which sucks. And it's just led me to larger thoughts that I hope we get around to addressing at some point as a nation, of course. And that's the killing of 2 West Virginia National Guardsmen in DC today. They got some kind of a suspect in custody, whatever. 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard have died after being shot in downtown DC on Wednesday. President Donald Trump issued a forceful statement saying the animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded and now in 2 separate hospitals, is also severely wounded, but regardless, will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. That's what he says. But they're gone. Both of them are dead. And
so that's official?
That's what's being reported now by multiple places. It fluctuates from critical condition to dead. And this is a thing for me. I want to play you something from this. Nick Shirley just put this out there about an hour ago, and it's a re-upload of some of the people he encountered in Washington, D.C. a few days ago when he was down there. Okay. And he encounters a guy who is standing there with a sign that says, "Is he dead yet?" So for those of you in podcast land, I'm sure you'll hear it enough, but there you go.
Is he dead yet? Come here. Let's ask this guy.
It's like a magnet.
Excuse me, sir. He's not dead yet.
Not yet.
When would you like him to die?
What time is it?
It's about 12 p.m. right now.
That's good enough.
And how do you hope he goes out?
Numerous ways. He can choke on something. I don't know, maybe Clinton's dick. Out of here, I'll talk to you later.
You would like Trump to choke on Clinton's dick?
Yeah, I like that sign, man.
Is he dead yet?
Now, this is obviously the tip of the iceberg. And because we could talk about mass deportations, and that needs to be accelerated by incredible, ferocious degrees.
Yeah.
But we have legal residents here, citizens, 3, 4, 5 generations worth. Leftists, avowed Marxists. This isn't the 1950s anymore. This is not witch hunt, McCarthyism. Oh, they're swiping at ghosts and all that shit. These people are out with it. They have a deranged platform that is a mix of race and class warfare. And the fact that they vote is bad enough, but they also have institutional influence. They are judges, they are DAs, and they are an existential threat to the country because they live here and they want nothing more but the country to fail and to be steamrolled and remolded into something else. It already has to a large degree, but they want it gone. And they're very, very open and honest about their bloodlust. Marxists have always been this way. I think we're actually lucky so far that so much of the modern American left is not like the Bolsheviks in early 20th century Russia. They're a little bit more, I don't know, what should you say, effeminate, a little bit more gender confused, a little soft, a little bit soft.
Yeah.
You know, but they're bloodthirsty, but they're hoping that somebody else will do the job. That's just the only thing going for us right now. So I don't know, a trade deal, great. A rate cut at the Fed, that's nice. Tax reform, that's good too, especially if it goes our way a little bit or whatever. But none of it means anything if you're talking about the overarching thing here, which is, are we going to save the country? None of it means anything unless these people are subdued with ferocity. You can't allow Slugworth to run the chocolate factory. You can't do it. You just can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, this brings me back to a little bit of what we spoke about last time I was on with, if there was one thing we could accomplish, obviously we need to accomplish more than one thing because not one thing is going to fix the problem. But, the indoctrination in our education system, I mean, that has to change because you can't continue to raise generations of people who think these thoughts. I mean, and these thoughts, by that I mean, specifically implanted to achieve a desired outcome. These are not natural occurring, theories that one arrives at by living actual life and experience. These are like sheltered, purely academic ideas, right? That we know fail time and time again. Oh no, but this time we'll do it right? Isn't that the whole thing about socialism? You just didn't do it right. So education is one thing, but then of course you have to look at the media. So this story, I heard about it quite literally the seconds I was walking into the studio. So I've seen nothing about it. All I had heard at the time was dead. And then I heard critical condition. So that's why I asked that question. Like, I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to make a guess because I haven't seen any reporting on this, but I'm going to guess. So, you'll see where I'm going with this. This is about the media. So the education is what we need to fix in order to protect future generations. How do we stop the programming of these, like that man there, that adult man who doesn't really seem to have an original thought in his head? He is one of the examples of, I'm surprised he wasn't wearing a mask, right? Purely programmed by the media. I bet the way the media will cover this shooting is, well, of course we know it's going to be Donald Trump's fault, but how do we somehow pigeonhole this? Well, I think it's going to be quite obvious. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, the National Guard wouldn't be in Washington, D.C., so it's his fault that these 2 guardsmen are dead on Thanksgiving Eve. I have seen no coverage, but I bet you somewhere MS Now or whatever they're called will say, well, in the end, this is Donald Trump's fault because they should have never been there, right? That'll be the way they cover it.
Or guns.
Right. Yeah, take your pick.
I mean,
they don't know which one. Yeah, whichever one's more convenient. They do love both of those.
But you see, I'm glad you're bringing this up because it really reinforces the other half of what I'm saying, that this guy that's holding his sign, he's an idiot,
right?
He has no institutional power,
right?
But but that institutional influence exists. Yeah. Who creates it? Like, for example, when you think of here, take a look at Eric Swalwell. You remember him?
Oh my God! Is this the clip where he's at he's giving a speech or something at like a California gymnasium to potential voters because they know he's running for governor?
No, he's running for governor, but here he is on CNN talking about how he wants to looking like a constipated baby. He was a constipated baby. Someone told him, hey, you know what? Hey, Eric, unbutton the shirt a little bit. Grow from some scruff. You could be the new masculine front of the Democrat Party.
Oh, this is a perfect transition into the other clip I saw.
This is what he says. Listen to what he says about voting.
I want us to be able to vote by phone. I think every Californian
Vote by phone.
Vote by
Oh
phone.
my!
Yes, if we can do our taxes, do our make our healthcare appointments, make essentially do your banking online. You should be able to vote by phone. Make it safe, make it secure, but it's actually already happening all over the United States. I want us to be a blue state that doesn't do just a little bit better than like Georgia or Alabama when it comes to like voting access. I want us to max out democracy. Also,
max out democracy.
I know you play this clip. Guys, this is wild. I had this conversation. Has anyone ever actually watched the series Max Headroom?
Yeah.
You know that this is what they did, and this is the plot of the series. There was a huge scandal because people were voting on their phones, and they found out that it was fraudulent.
Dude,
that's the plot of Max Headroom.
Do you remember?
You got to watch.
Do you remember the Sanjaya season of American Idol?
No.
It had to be like one of the first 4 seasons.
I know the name sounds familiar, but I don't remember it.
American Idol started doing these vote by text.
Right. I remember that.
And Howard Stern actually led this campaign here. But they had this kid Sanjaya. I think he was like an Indian kid or whatever. Mediocre karaoke voice. Just mediocre karaoke voice.
Yeah.
And because of people like Howard Stern, who at the time, just had a big platform and people weren't really coordinating online to be able to get this stuff out, just had everybody voting for Sanjaya against all, and all these much better, much stronger candidates were being eliminated so that he can go forward because of the phone and all that stuff. Yeah. So just say we're going to have President Sanjaya one day.
Wow.
It's already bad. But, listen, I've been saying this for at least 10 years now. The ease with which anyone can deposit a legally counted vote is just stupid at this point. Yeah. If Democrats knew how much it's crazy. I used to make jokes that they're going to have us voting through dick pics soon. And here he is. Here he is. We're
dick pic himself.
That's it.
Yeah, he's the other clip. He was he's just such like it's funny that you said, unbutton your top button, grow some scruff, be like a manly man. Yeah, no. This guy was confronted by a female voter in California at this other clip I saw where she just said, I want you to say that you're not going to allow men in women's locker rooms. And he couldn't say it. This guy is so weak. He's such a beta male that he couldn't even just say, he kept doing I'm going to protect women. She's like, I want to make it simple for you. Tell me you're not going to allow men in women's locker rooms. He goes, I'm not going to allow women to be. She's like, no. And it went back and forth and back. He's so weak. He's so weak. He couldn't even say it. What a coward.
Listen, there's a reason why I bring this up. Because like I said, this is where they all go. Well, someone like Eric Swalwell, he's a nobody. But the Democrat vote, in particular, is really just like it's an accountability firewall. It really is an accountability firewall for things. And then when you look at things in general, when we talked about the guy with the sign when Nick Shirley was talking to him, and the need for us to really make some hard decisions about how the enemy is going to be subdued, how they're going to be removed from civil society. And exiled, whatever the hell it is, they got repatriated somewhere. If this is not the place for them, if they are campaigning to destroy the United States, then okay, let's just get you out of here.
Yeah,
something. Send them to Elba, where Napoleon was. Whatever the hell it is, let's just send them somewhere. I don't know, but But the whole point of this here too, like that DA or that judge, for example, out in, where the hell was she? Teresa Molina Gonzalez. Judge Teresa Molina Gonzalez. That is the one who let this woman, this guy, I don't know what the hell his name is. He set a young mother on fire recently. He had 72 prior arrests.
Okay.
72 I mean, once you get to 5, what the hell are we doing here?
But doesn't that just prove to you that there are no limits? Because obviously 72 is completely unreasonable in anybody's mind. But I mean,
not to a judge.
I think did Clinton, was it Clinton that was 3 strikes and you're out? Where are we now? 72 strikes later. When are you out? I mean, when are you out? And yeah, I mean, talk about deterrence. You know, we're like late stage Roman Empire now. Maybe, you know, you're talking about social, you know, gender confusion. You're talking about weakened borders. I mean, this is how the Roman Empire fell. And I mean, obviously one side actually wants it because essentially they hate everything that this country was founded on. But I don't think that people realize just how, like we talked about this last time, how the hour is late for real change. And I blame the Republicans squarely for this because they're so weak. They will not do anything. I mean, they've had control of everything in the last year, and they've done virtually, it's been Trump with executive orders. What has Congress done? They took a 2-month vacation during the shutdown. Oh, it's the Democrats' fault. Yeah, okay. But, I mean, you fell into that trap too. They have done nothing. They have codified none of this. This is all, like you said, you can undo all of this with the stroke of a pen. And the way things are trending right now, people are going to punish the Republicans for not doing, the people want radical change. And they are not getting it. You're not going to get it by electing a Lindsey Graham. You know, you're not going to get it that way.
Donald Trump, and, you know, is less than a year in. But
it's so infuriating.
But you can't judge, you can't manage the clock of a presidency based on years. You manage the clock of a presidency based on the midterms.
Right.
That's just it. So you have just about 1 year. Once you get your cabinet in place, you get all of your administration functionally in place by the middle of the first year. You have until the middle of the next year to really get some work done. If you have the congressional majorities, if you don't, then you're trying to pitch the voter for the next year to give you something for your last 2 years.
Right.
And right now he needs to go scorched earth. And
that's what people want. I know that some people will tell him it's extreme, and maybe I really do feel like he's got some really, really shitty people around him again.
And Congress sucks.
And they absolutely
listen,
suck.
it would be very easy for Donald Trump to be bold if there was bold people in Congress, and they're fucking awful.
You have none
of them.
We are,
I mean, it's just so bad. That's why I hate both parties equally for slightly different reasons. And some reasons overlap. It's just, it's gross, man.
And like I said last time, the reason that you had the mayoral election in New York the way you did, where you had Trump Mamdani voters, is because they are just looking for somebody to wreck the place, right? That's what they want. They may not even understand fully what the plan is. They just know, and they're right. It's not working the way it is. We've got to do something. That's why it's so clear to me that these votes for Donald Trump, this massive coalition, was not an endorsement of the Republican Party. You morons, you idiots in the Republican Party who think you can coast to a midterm election on the coattails of Donald Trump. No. He's not on the ballot. I don't care who he endorses. He's not on the ballot anymore, ever, probably, ever. So the midterms, you're going to get killed because you think that landslide election was about your party. It wasn't. It was about Donald Trump, period. And that is going to be a rude awakening. But honestly, I kind of think they want that because I think they like being the controlled opposition. I don't think they want power because when they have it, they don't do anything. I think they're afraid to wield power.
No,
I think they'd rather just
it.
be like, oh, we want to just complain about the Democrats when they're in power. Like you said, that's why I despise both parties.
Yeah, it's all role playing.
Yeah, it's WWE.
It's all role playing, and I can actually see whoever the hell is in the at the RNC kind of be like, oh shit, We won a majority.
I absolutely believe that, man. I absolutely believe that's the case.
Honestly,
my role is just to be the beta boy. I don't want to lead.
Hey, yeah, no, it's gross. So,
remember Idiocracy? Lead, follow, get out of the way. The Republicans are get out of the way.
That's what they do. Hey, listen, and that's why when I bring this up here, it's really just about acknowledging what the real issues are, and that getting a little bit of tax relief, or like I said, a slight 0.3% rate cut at the Fed or something like that is really secondary to acknowledging the kind of animals we're living with right now. Animals that have been created over a course of a very, very, very short couple of generations. Yeah. And that's it. Those are battle bots that are controlled by this uniparty and its media and everything else, all the unaccounted aspects of government as well. That's what they are. Those people holding the signs, the placards that are just like, waiting for one figurehead or another to die, as if that is some kind of like a victory.
And I don't, and that was in DC, right? So I wish Nick had asked the guy, are you upset that I don't know the statistics, but there was this whole like stretch of time where there were no murders in DC, right? It was like the first time in like 40 years or something. There was like a 2-week streak last time I remember checking. Maybe it went longer, but I wish someone would have asked him, what are you upset about now? That crime is significantly down in your home city? Like articulate your point, which of course he wouldn't be able to do, because we've seen that with, remember last time I was on, you played that girl that tried, God bless her heart, she tried so hard to articulate a sentence, even a complete sentence, and she really, God, I can't do it. But what is the guy so upset about? You're right, they're like battle bots. They're just being remote controlled by MSNBC or somebody else, because they don't have thoughts of their own. I don't even think that guy probably knew what his sign was about, what it said, what it stood for. He's just, I gotta go protest the fascist.
Well, okay, so this is why a lot of people are going deeper down other rabbit holes and trying to, because as the news is being reported, there's nothing of value there. I don't care. I mean, I've actually seen a couple of headlines over the last day and a half of a peace deal for Ukraine. Is Putin going to take it? Has Donald Trump kind of tightened the leash on Zelensky? Who's cooling on what? I don't care. Yeah. There's a very easy way to end this war. Okay, the war was started by us clandestinely, and you pull everything out and you leave, and you let the world heal. Say, well, it's going to create a vacuum, just like ISIS. You let the world. I don't. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's like we just got to wean ourselves off the chemo. Just keep doing just this methadone drip for everything, and I don't care anymore.
Yeah,
you get it done, fantastic. Because
happy Thanksgiving, Jay, Francis, and all the Franklies. Hope it's a magical holiday for one and all. Thanksgiving song, gobble gobble goo and gobble gobble gickle. I wish turkey only cost a nickel. Oh, I love turkey on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
That's Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks for the levity. We needed it.
Oh my gosh.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, well,
do you get an advance notice when they pop up, or you just see it
that just came in?
Comes in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They just popped right up. Somebody said the other night, "I'm gay. I'm gay."
That's great.
I think that was Linda.
Linda.
So, I don't know.
It's just enough to throw you off track now.
Just a little.
What was I saying? I don't know. Happy Thanksgiving.
It's a happy Thanksgiving. So that's why it's so much more attractive for people to get into stories like Candace Owens and what is still an ongoing Charlie Kirk investigation on the internet. I mean, we've been given the Las Vegas shooter, Butler, Pennsylvania shooter official story where it's all said and done, and we don't know too much, but it happened, and you got to trust us. And everybody is trusting that or not trusting it to varying degrees, but that's why this whole thing has taken such precedence, because at least it's interesting. at least it's interesting because most people would say, well, why would Candace lie, and to what degree is she willing to lose it all if she comes out, especially when the last thing she did was say that I've given everything to the Trump administration and they're going to confirm for me that I'm telling the truth. What if they don't? If they do confirm that they're telling the truth, then they just confirm that there is a major international scandal. That we have to go to war. Okay, we have to go to war with France.
It's not going to end well.
We got to go to war with France.
What do you think MAGA's going to think about that?
It's like as soon as we pull out of Ukraine, we got to start bombing France.
France is up next. I mean, it's wild, and we've talked about some of the similarities to the Kennedy assassination, and but you're right. I mean, it is wild to think that she is running the risk of kind of, like you said, losing it all and ruining all credibility if nobody else can back up what she's saying. I'm just kind of like, I've been listening to everything that everybody has said, and obviously there's a ton of stuff we don't know, right? Like, because there's going to be a trial, all the things that we need to see to confirm that it was this one person and that's it, we would need to see that. Whether or not he had accomplices, I still believe, there's got to be something going on, aside from that. So, maybe we'll learn about that. But I mean, even just a video of him actually, in the times we live in, to think that there's not a video out there that actually shows him in the act is unbelievable to me. There has to be. And maybe they have that. And if they do, that's great. I am a person that will follow the evidence. We don't have all the evidence. But Candace, man, I mean, I've been listening to her just because, well, for one, it is entertaining. But two, I want to see what somebody's willing to do if it's all a lie. Let's just say everything Candace is saying is a lie. What does this serve other than right now getting you a lot of notoriety, even more than she had, and clicks and all this stuff? But the backlash is going to be severe if it all comes to be that there was nothing there. I know there's still going to be some people that will always say, well, it was all, she's right. They turn their back on her. But a lot of people are going to be like, okay, you've been stringing us along. You said there was going to be evidence. You never presented any evidence.
I'll tell you something, Jay, you have to do, Anthony and I were joking about this a couple of weeks ago on the Playhouse. And we were talking about how bad you have to act to actually get yourself canceled permanently.
I heard that conversation.
It's like,
it's true.
We're talking about one guitarist or somebody from a band that was thrown in jail for assaulting a child or something like that.
Yeah.
Like something like that you don't come back from.
Sure.
And you're probably done away with, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
But you think about everybody that gets canceled these days. What does it really just mean? You just need a couple of weeks to just bear through it, and then you come out on the other side and you're back. And I don't know. So as far as if people say, well, she's just doing this for her own benefit, she is, for whatever metric they have out there now, whatever has replaced the Nielsen rating, she's number one.
Oh yeah, it's worked
and
in the short term.
But the question is that really the motive? It's not like she was wanting for money or an audience. So this is big.
This is what I'm saying. Like I can see it from both sides, and I know that's a rare point of view, because you've either got people that think she's an absolute wacko, just a pathological liar, and then other people that believe everything she says. And I'm in neither of those camps. So I'm just kind of watching it. I guess what I meant by canceled wouldn't be actual physical cancellation, but more a total loss of credibility. And in what she does, credibility becomes really important, unless she becomes truly like in those sort of dark corner, tinfoil hat places, which again are not always bad, because sometimes you actually get information out of those places. But I'm just kind of wondering, like you said, what her end game is, because she already has a massive audience.
Well, I'll tell you, I honestly don't trust any of them anymore.
I don't either.
I never did, really. Like you said, I'm lukewarm on anybody. Mm-hmm. I'll take a listen. I'll see all the other people. I pay attention to people who are commenting more passionately, as if they know something I don't. Mm-hmm. Many of them probably do. But, it's just the fighting is so crazy sometimes. I never followed TP USA or Charlie Kirk outside of debate clips that I've seen. And I always acknowledged he was great at what he did, but it was just not in my routine. And ever since his wife assumed power, it's completely unpalatable to me. I don't listen to anyone that I was even keeping track of 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends who do their shows and stuff like that. And obviously the deeper you get into making this a career, the more you can only really concentrate on what's on your plate.
Sure.
So that's why I like to try to bring my friends on the show as much as possible so I can see what they're doing, what they're thinking and all that stuff. But many people are on this take on the take that it's so many people are on the take, I should just say.
It's interesting that you say that.
So many people are on the take. You can just tell that so many people are being compelled by money.
I can't. Well, I mean, so we talked about this a little bit because you had a source who was speaking. I can't remember the guy's name because he's relatively insignificant to me. To post against Tucker Carlson. So I'm starting to see a lot of that, even on supposed conservative networks that house conservative shows. You're seeing a lot of backlash against him. So of course you have to wonder how much money is coming in from foreign governments and lobbies to push people in that direction. And even in my field, Frank, I'll tell you, without, I just want to be careful because like you, right? You end up becoming friends with people that you work with, that you've known for a while. And it's weird. It's weird. I was thinking about this the other day. Sometimes it's better not to have too many friends because it really can cloud your judgment and your objectivity when it comes to assessing the truth of a matter. This was something that I always was frustrated with with Charlie Kirk. He would bring on somebody like Newt Gingrich, and he would say, he's my friend and all this stuff. And then Newt would get up there and say something absolutely asinine, completely ridiculous. Like when he called Matt Gaetz a traitor, he used the T word, traitor, for his, all the stuff with Matt Gaetz. Yeah. With Kevin McCarthy. And asinine. I said, was that?
Sorry, it was you. I went to D Live to yeah, go ahead.
But so friends, I just had and I said, well, Charlie, maybe if you weren't friends with Newt Gingrich, maybe you'd be able to more objectively assess the situation here, and you wouldn't be afraid to say that's ridiculous to call Matt Gaetz a traitor. It's absolutely absurd, Newt. You're ridiculous for doing this, right? So friends are interesting to me because when I hear friends, I say, okay, well, then I can't trust your judgment when it comes to somebody else. So in my field, man, I'm seeing a lot of the same thing. For your audience, I'm sure that you'll start to see stuff on social media with all these people all of a sudden saying, what's really good for you? Sugar. That, believe it or not, and I've said this to our group at HRP, I said, have you guys started to see this stuff? And a few of them were like, yeah, I'm starting to see it. So I wrote 3 very passionate Substack articles about why this is ridiculous. And now I'm starting to think that some people are being paid. And you know what occurred to me last night, Frank? Maha, what is that all about? It's about removing all of these things from food. It's about even the idea of a low carbohydrate strategy for diabetes, which now the American Diabetes Association has embraced, and getting the food pyramid to kind of flip it on its head and change it around. Now all of a sudden there's some big influencers, even some of them that used to be in that low carb carnivore space, starting to say, you know what you should do? You should eat a ton of sugar. And I'm like, that's interesting. And I know some of them personally.
Oh.
Now, I have no evidence to support the theory that they are being paid. But I can say is I've seen a flip on a dime in terms of messaging, while also seeing a complete change in their social media presence, meaning all of a sudden it's highly professional and much more creative. And it's, I wonder if those two things could be related. Again, I'm not saying I know, but when you said that, it was last night I had this kind of thought that I just don't trust anybody anymore, even people I know, because I think people can be swayed by the almighty dollar.
Do you think that the sugar industry has enough money to pay everybody $7,000 a piece?
Well, I don't think it would be that difficult to pay somebody per post. Yeah, I mean, Eric Metaxas, that was the name that we talked about last time about Tucker Carlson, posting, being paid to post against Tucker Carlson. And I just think it's, to think that you could be paid for your point of view in that way is just shameful. But I don't know. I had this conversation with Jen last night about our field, and I'm like, what is going on? There's a lot of people saying a lot of really weird things that are completely antithetical to everything we know about biology and biochemistry. It's just plain wrong, factually incorrect. And I'm like, and either they're stupid, which is totally a possibility, or they're on the take. So I don't know what to tell you anymore other than you really shouldn't trust anybody. You should trust your gut. and always verify, because, just because someone you trusted once upon a time says something doesn't mean that you should always, trust them going forward. I have plenty of people that I disagree with 90% of what they say, but if they say something I agree with, I'm not afraid to admit it. I think that's a good way about, going about things. You can't disagree with everybody all the time, but you also can't agree with everybody all the time.
I know. And, going back to Friends, it happens so often with me in smaller ways. Like, for example, Chrissy Mayer was kind of like ripping on Andrew and Rachel Wilson. I don't know Andrew, but I'm good friends with Rachel. And, and I see all these things happen where people are just taking, like, everybody has such strong, like, I know that this one doesn't like this one, and they're going nuts at it. Like, what the hell's another one though? There's plenty of people that Timothy Gordon has had on his show that people have come on my show to rip, and everybody's ripping each other. And there I am just going, and I have to, okay, well, I'm friends with so-and-so, and I didn't see that, or okay, that's interesting. Right. And I just try to ask it, just be inquisitive about something without having to take us. Because you know what it is? I also find that so many people get really bent out of shape about shit that just doesn't matter.
That's a great point.
And because so much of what we do used to be just a little bit more localized and off of the internet, like, this is the kind of stuff that happens when you're in high school. Absolutely. And it's confined to a 3,000 square foot building.
Into a cafeteria.
In a cafeteria.
Yeah.
And now the entire country's a cafeteria, and everybody is able to get into the school by downloading an app. And then, and it's just, it's a godforsaken mess. It really is. So
yeah. No, I don't think that, and I want to be very clear. So I think we've also lost the art of disagreement, right? Like, and I want to be also very clear about, the people that I know. If somebody stumbles upon a new idea or a thought, or is really just questioning things, I applaud that 100%. That is the, when they say, you can't question the science, like, actually that's how you do science, right? So I love when people question, but I also trust my gut. And when I see somebody pushing something so hard and being arrogant about it, where there should be no arrogance, and being mean about it, and some things just rub me the wrong way, and they just scream to me that something is wrong, right? This is not just a simple disagreement. I try very hard. We all have our biases. I try very hard not to be dogmatic. I really do follow the biochemistry, the biology, the physiology. Like, I have opinions that are pretty well solidified at this point, but that's not because I got there in a straight line by any means. So I do not care, and I love questioning, and I love disagreement, honest disagreement. That's not what I'm seeing in my particular space. I'm seeing some intent that I don't like, and it's the same thing in any other space. I think we need to be able to say, hey, I respect this person. I appreciate this person. I vehemently disagree with them on X, Y, and Z, but that's okay. We used to be able to do that, and maybe that is what social media and the internet has created. Because in that cafeteria, you could just have that conversation, and it would be fine, and there wouldn't be like gangs of people ganging up on you because you said this thing, because nobody else would hear it. But now all of a sudden, everybody gets to hear and maybe it's not advantageous to post every fleeting thought that passes through your skull.
No, it's not. That's why I say I think it would for everybody who have spent time confirming for themselves and others about how there is such deep intelligence ties to the creation of the internet and people's access to the internet. It is such an incredible thing just to know human nature so much, to know that with just the introduction of this technology within one generation, people would be so compelled to spill every thought.
I know.
Every thought they would spill. And I mean, just well, but it's not, we're not putting the genie back in that bottle.
No. I mean, we've gotten to the point where, again, you're think of it as a human. When I see people do weird things, like I'm always going to think this is weird. When people film themselves crying. and I'm sorry, but I know because I'm watching it, I know that it can't be authentic because you would have You were cognizant enough to pull yourself out of this intense emotional state to like go to the app, find the right filter, do the whole thing, and then film yourself crying. I don't understand that. And it is like,
no, the best is when you get the girls who they actually set up the camera on a tripod and they go and they sit down up against the wall and they put their heads in their hands.
Yeah.
It's like you prepared the scene. Honey, the nurses were doing that during COVID.
And we all lost track of how crazy that was.
Dude,
right?
You remember some of I mean, they're the worst ones where the nurses were setting up their cameras on I don't know, maybe they're just leaning it up against the wall, but they wanted to film themselves like kind of like exasperated, throwing themselves back up against the wall and then sliding down to the floor because they just lost another one. And perhaps they did, but the fact is that they went and they turned it into a theatrical event. I mean, this is some sick shit.
It's almost like we've watched television and movies so much to the point we've now lost the ability, especially this younger generation, we've lost the ability to interact and make eye contact. And you see that sometimes with like very maladjusted kids, younger kids who like, because they get a chance to think about everything they're going to say and they're always on the keyboard. And when you talk to them in person, I remember when I used to work in retail and I would notice this years ago where the younger generation just really were poor communicators in person, very poor. Or on the phone, they call up and they'd ask a question and you'd give them an answer and then there'd be silence and it's like, it's your turn to talk, I answered the question, right? Like they have no skills anymore because they're so used to being on a keyboard. And I wonder if as a society, we think that we've gotten to that point where, okay, now reality is no longer reality. Reality is the television show and the movie, so that the best way to convince people that something is real, like a pandemic, is to make it look like a movie. Because in reality, if you were actually so devastated at X, Y, or Z, you would never, ever take the time. If you were truly devastated by the death of, you would not, in the moment, set up your camera. You can have a conversation after, like whatever, like that's fine. But in the moment, no, it's not authentic. And I still have that visceral reaction to that. But my concern is that other people don't, because they've spent their whole lives absorbing the world through a screen, through a television show, through a movie, and they no longer have that real world, like, how am I supposed to act in the real world? So that becomes normal to them. And that's a disconnect, I think. Like, you and I see that and laugh at it. But if someone younger watching this show heard us have this conversation, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And that's scary.
Yeah. That element plays into even the people who believe that they are most in the know. Like, you think about, like, I know more than all of the people that show up to that Nick Shirley protest. People in this chat room know more than all of those. I mean, that's what I'm saying, and still I'm like, I'm not going out.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fact that people know so little, but they feel so confident and so driven in anything. It could be, that's just what it is.
The Dunning-Kruger effect, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know.
I use that a lot. That's a really amazing psychological experiment and theory.
The other thing that's really interesting, did you ever read into this, where the hell was it? It's that test they did, that study on bias. And let me see here. Expectation bias. You ever hear about this test?
You're not talking the Solomon Asch conformity experiment?
The Dartmouth SCAR experiment.
No.
The study you refer. Okay, so here we go. It's the Dartmouth SCAR experiment conducted by psychologists Robert E. Kleck and Angelo Strenta in 1980, titled "Perceptions of the Impact of Negatively Valued Physical Characteristics on Social Interaction." Okay. It can be applied more widely. You'll see how. In this experiment, researchers explored how individuals' perceptions of their own physical appearance influence their interpretation of social interactions rather than directly testing perceived victimhood as a standalone concept. In the study, participants, including women, were told they would be participating in an experiment about social perceptions related to physical appearance. A makeup artist applied a fake scar to each participant's face, which they were shown in a mirror to reinforce the belief that they had a visible facial disfigurement. The participants were then informed that they would engage in a social interaction, often framed as an interview or conversation. However, just before the interaction, the researchers, under the guise of touching up the makeup, secretly removed the scar without the participants' knowledge.
Oh, interesting.
The participants then proceeded into the interaction believing they still had a visible scar. Afterwards, many participants reported experiencing negative treatment or discrimination, such as perceiving that others stared at the scar or treated them rudely, even though no scar was present during the interaction. The study demonstrated that the expectation of being judged or stigmatized due to perceived flaw, in this case it was a fake scar, led to participants to interpret neutral or ambiguous social cues as hostile or discriminatory.
Holy mackerel.
This aligns with the concept of expectation bias, where preconceived beliefs shape one's perception of reality rather than explicitly proving a victimhood mentality, though it has been interpreted that way in some discussions. And, you want to talk about just knowing psychology and just knowing basically how, before this study was done in 1980, I'm sure people who needed to know knew that and much more. MK Ultra was all throughout the earlier parts, started in the earlier parts of the 20th century.
Sure.
So to think that that people are not going into media work, that they're not utilizing the media and education and any other institution to give people certain scars.
Right. You can program your victim.
That is what is on screen every time someone shows up as a man on the street at these protests. It's just people with invisible scars that were put there by those who actually stood to benefit from the grift.
Wow.
They never stood to benefit. They are just they're just the firewall. Because while people who are actually running the game and are actually benefiting from the game are out there doing their thing, you have these.
What a great recovery from Monday to Tuesday. Last night's show was so effing good. Happy Wednesday and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful to have you here in the room with us.
Thanks for interrupting.
Just jumping, yeah. But that's what I'm just saying. That's why I said it's almost like we're just a firewall for people, because the only ones who benefit from what's going on at the in government or anywhere else, we're giving them all the cover fire they need by fighting all of their zombies off, and we can't get through to them.
Yeah. And then you could overlay the Milgram experiment on top of that, because then you've got perceived authority like news media or anything. So they're doing the programming, but they're also perceived as having, some level of authority. And we know what people will do when they're told to do it by any authority figure, which is why something like these losers in Congress, what are their nickname is the seditious six, right? The ones that are like, you don't have to follow unlawful orders, right? That's the perfect example of that. So you have a whole class of people that have already victimized themselves in so to speak. And then you've got your authority telling you, it's okay to disobey things and to lash out at your victimizers and all of that stuff. Yeah, you got a recipe for psychological distress and social upheaval.
Yeah,
I think that's I think it's pretty obvious to most of us in this country that that's what we're going through, which is exactly why, again, bringing it back to before, we didn't elect Donald Trump because he's a Republican. We elected him because, as you used to say in the first administration, he's a monkey wrench at the very least. And we need that.
I wanted to throw a monkey wrench. I wanted a monkey wrench in the gears to at least freeze everything until just give us 4 years to see if we can whatever. Yeah. At the most, I would love to see a grenade.
I know.
Figuratively, a grenade, but like the whole bull in the china shop situation. Like I wanted someone. Obviously, he's a lightning rod. And I would have loved to see him just be the bull in the china shop. Be complete, just take things down and let the next generation, because you're going to need following generations who, to kind of pick it up. But we're like I said, everybody's watching the clock and realizing that. All right, but remember this though. Remember this. I really do believe that one way or another, we're dealing with some. I don't know. I think we're dealing with some good stuff. I think when it comes to Donald Trump, was definitely the best thing that could have happened to us, because even right now, the frustration of not knowing if we're being betrayed or just varying degrees of being hindered or sabotaged or anything like that. You look at this, you look at how everything is out in the open though. And I mean, prior to 2016, very few people were talking the way we are.
Oh yeah.
You know, and we had to communicate with winks and nods.
Yeah.
When it came to foreign interests, especially when it came to Israel.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing this for 20 years, and maybe about around 2010 or so. 2010 is when I started doing this on my own, and it wasn't with Anthony and Mike. So, I mean, for a while, you learn pretty quick. You know, why the hell are we always getting in trouble because of this one damn? You know, why are we the junkyard dog for this one little nation state? What's the deal here? And you start learning things, and you learn things, but then you also realize, you know so much of this is true because you can't talk about it. So for a while, you got to talk about you got to talk about principles. You got to talk about things that really solve the problem without getting your platform destroyed. Yeah. Solve the problem, which is pull away from the entire world, Israel included, everybody, pull away from everybody. Nobody gets a dime. You got a product you want to sell. Okay, come and compete in the open market and whatever. No treaties, UN, NATO, go fuck yourself. Everybody take care of yourself, fight your own wars, and be a good neighbor, stop being a bitch, and whatever. That's the best way to just go about it for a while. Mm-hmm. Now it's just pigs feeding from the trough. Yeah. It is out in everything's out in the open. Yeah. And I mean, especially even in at this point, now we're getting to the point where we even see all the backlash from people who are supposedly really like, you know, the tip of the spear of the new conservative movement. Oh yeah. Like look at what a joke the Daily Wire is right now. And everything. And like I said, I TPUSA is never really anything I followed, but completely unpalatable now. Mm. And that's something I'm always grateful for. And who the hell knows what happens in 3 years? Right. In 3 years' time. And then what happens in the 30 years after that? God willing, we're all around to see it. And but I mean, the 8 years of anybody was never going to be enough. No. So. No, this has been a slow unraveling, and I do think it was necessary. And you know, just like the first Trump presidency and the second, but also, you know, COVID, you know, smashed in the middle of that also, and the Biden administration for that matter, opened up a lot of eyes. So I do think there's a lot of momentum in the right direction. But I also think, again, going back to the Republican Party specifically, they are preventing this, despite the fact that there are some people out there that insist there's not a realignment, which I think is laughably stupid. They are doing everything they can to prevent this realignment because they know it makes them obsolete. They know it makes people like, again, I'll go back to Lindsey Graham, who said, I saw a clip of him the other day. I don't know when this was from. He actually said, I think things are good. He was talking to some Republican convention or whatever. I think things are good. And the quote was, we're killing all the rat people. He said this? Oh, yes. That's the George W. Bush Republican Party. We're killing all the rat people. So, again, I would never want to be a part of that party, which is why I'm not. But those people are the ones that are holding back this actual realignment into a party that actually represents what the people want, which is not killing all the rat people. So I don't know who wins that fight, but that's going to be highly determinative of what happens going forward with at least the Republican Party, because I think the Democrat Party, they have their own battle to fight, right? We went over this too, like with Cuomo saying like, there's a faction that's taken over the Democrat Party. Yeah, you were part of it, you dumb shit, right? During COVID, like you couldn't get out of your own way. Now he's blaming the Republican. I heard he was blaming Sliwa for his loss. Again, a classic Cuomo, can't take responsibility for anything. What a loser. But this civil war in the Republican Party is necessary, but so Robert Barnes had said this, that going back to the Friends thing too, Donald Trump had been talked to apparently by Mark Mitchell, the Rasmussen pollster. Him and Rich I like the two of them. They seem to be the only ones that ever get anything right. And he went in apparently to talk to Donald Trump and told him the straight scoop. There's a real problem. And
it's not good for the midterms, and people think you're spending way too much time on foreign policy. I get it. The president has to spin 10 million plates. I can't even conceive of all the things he has to do. I would never even think to say, oh, why don't you just do this? That's ridiculous.
Spin domestic plates, though.
But you do. Right. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. But I'm not naive to think that, like, there's not more going on than I know. But anyway,
that's why you have the State Department, though.
Absolutely. And so Mitchell gives him this news, and then according to Barnes, as soon as he left, Susie Wiles brings in Trump's personal friend and pollster, I can't remember his name because I don't care, who says, nah, everything's fine. They love you. You're better than ever. And that's why you'll see Trump come out and say, polls are great. I'm doing great. So this is what I mean about friends. Sometimes friends are not really what you want. And I don't know who Donald Trump's friends are, but I feel like he's getting some really bad information. And this is coming from Barnes, who knows all the players involved in this. And that Fabrizio, that's the name of the pollster that polls for Trump. And he's been Trump's pollster forever, and he's been blowing sunshine up Trump's skirt for a long time. So in other words, the presidency is isolating enough, right? You are so isolated when you are the president, and he's even being more isolated now. And you have to wonder why. Is it, again, just to bide some time until this bumpy ride is over and we can get back to killing all the rap people? That's what I think. So, I feel bad because you've got some people in there like Trump, like RFK, who are really trying to ruffle feathers. And it is just, I don't know. I don't want to say impossible because I don't believe it's impossible. But man, it's just wild when you think about all the different inputs.
I remember hearing Lindsey Graham. I remember a quote from him once in the past. I don't know when the hell it was. This is definitely over 10 years ago now. He was on TV or something, and I swear the quote was something like, well, freedom of speech is a great idea, but we're in the middle of a war.
I mean,
we're in the middle of a war.
Yeah,
well, we're always in the middle of a war. Not a declared one.
Yeah, and I don't think you ever met a war you didn't like, which is probably why you don't really like the First Amendment. Yeah, he's a clown. He's always been a clown. He'll always be a clown.
No, man, this is just nuts. Let's get to some super chats here. And everybody, please, wherever you are, like the show, comment a little bit, especially over there in Rumble. Rumble, so many of the issues that people that are dealing with right now, as far as broadcasting to audiences that used to be able to access them a lot easier, is all because of anti-spam. Rumble's got real bad spam problems. So I understand that they're trying to figure something out over there, but that just means that you got to prove that you are a human 10 times more, which means a click of a like, a hi, Frank, love the show. That's it. Just show that you're alive out there. That's all. And again, do this for everybody you enjoy. Everybody. We're all working with the same technology on the same platforms. It's not just relegated to one. It is a spammy world, both from an audience and a creator side of things. And hey, I don't know. That's just what's at. All right. So here's, and remember, as I read through these, I have been adding all these names to the list. We're going to be picking a name tonight. All the super chats, you are getting this wonderful Home Alone Christmas ornament.
That's cool.
You're getting the Molly Arty portrait that she made of me for my birthday. Then she miniaturized it. I said, "Oh, I want to put that out there."
Is that a picture or a drawing?
It's a painting.
Whoa!
But it's miniaturized. This is in my my office at home, an actual canvas. Aurora loves it. So I said, that's great. And then we have this SpaceX shirt from Grimbold. And then, of course, the big thing, you have 1 troy ounce of silver. Oh. So you're going to get a SpaceX cock rocket shirt. That's what it looks like. There you go. Cock rocket. And then you get all the fun stuff. But listen.
It's not a Blue Origin shirt, at least.
No, that's a real cock rocket. It's a nice buffalo head, Indian head.
That's cool.
Ounce. So we already have people from last night, and your names tonight are going to that too. Steve says, "Happy Thanksgiving, Frank and Jay."
Happy Thanksgiving.
Eli P says, "Been a long work week, and I'm just happy to be listening live." Frank, thanks, Frank and Jay. I'll be listening, thinking of Jay tomorrow while I'm stuffing my face.
Good. I approve.
Aurora and in her little class, we got brought in today. At her, and she's been telling us for like the last 2 weeks, I have a surprise, and you're going to, and on Wednesday we're going to have a feast for you, a Thanksgiving feast.
Oh.
And let me tell you, I didn't know. So we dropped her off around 9 o'clock. We had to come back for like 11:30. So I went home and just had a cup of coffee, and I'm putting some stuff together for tonight, doing all my morning routines and stuff.
This is today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go back there, and I'm telling you, the back door slides open, and Aurora goes, "Come on in," and she brings, all of her little classmates are in there too, and she asks, "Can I take your coat, please?"
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, of course you can." So I give her a coat. She took Lauren's coat, put it all that up stuff. And I look around, and they had set up the whole classroom, the whole room, and at her teacher's house was just all this like an art gallery of things that they have been creating over the last couple of weeks. And then there was this long table in the middle with the kids' table and stuff. And they were making a Thanksgiving feast for us and the parents and stuff.
That's great.
And so there was a turkey that they made.
What?
Made a turkey. Aurora contributed some rolls that my sister-in-law made. Wow. So we brought the dinner rolls. Somebody else brought. It's like a potluck. Somebody else brought.
She didn't steal some of the pate.
No, the pate's staying home. I want that. But it was great, dude. I gotta tell you something. It was incredible because and then of course every time that there is every day we all as a little group text get these pictures taken sent to us about what happened in class that day, and to see that they were buttering the turkey and all that other stuff, taking care of all this stuff. What is it? Lauren just sent me all the different types of all the different pictures of all the art projects, but it was incredible. We had a thing
really cool.
Yeah, we stuffed our face. I mean, I had to carve the turkey.
Okay.
So I carved it up and everybody had a good time. Thankfully, I'm well practiced with that, but
that's so cool.
But it was good, man.
Yeah.
These little 6, 5, and 4-year-olds were doing it was great. They're learning some, aside from numbers and letters and reading and all that stuff. So many practical skills.
I was gonna say that's a valuable thing that I wish now looking back. I mean they got rid of home ec by the time I had rolled around to high school.
Tons of home ec.
But I mean I remember going into like after school I would hang around because I was in the music department, and we seemed to always be hanging around after school because there was always like a practice or rehearsal. So very often we'd have like hours in between school ending and rehearsal. So we'd like stay and do homework or whatever, and then we just kind of like wander around the school. And I would wander into the home ec room very often. They never used it because it just didn't have the class anymore. But I just thought it was the coolest room, just like with everything in there and all the stuff was still there, just didn't really get used anymore. And I remember thinking, man, what an interesting class. Now at the time I didn't think I wanted anything to do with it. But looking back, man, I had to learn all those skills later on in life. It would have been really cool to get at least introduced to them in high school. I think that would have.
There's a whole materials and I think a sensory section in the class.
Oh.
So there's obviously quantity, visualizing quantity, and like I said, there's geography and they learn about different parts of the world, but the sensory part of the room I really love too. Like they practice a lot with dry pouring. Like they'll put like popcorn kernels into a pitcher and they practice pouring into and then there's other things where learning how to braid. They work a lot with hammers and nails.
That's cool.
Whenever they cut things out, like they're not using scissors right now. What they're doing is if they want to cut something out, I've seen this happen with a number of her projects at school. Like let's say they have a picture of an aardvark or something, and you have to cut out that picture because you're going to turn it into a little puppet. The way that they're almost given a pin, like a sewing pin.
Okay.
And just through points.
Wow.
They go around all the lining, the outline, and they go through the whole lining of the animal or whatever the hell they're cutting out. And just by poking tiny little holes along the way, just that sensory.
So it's to develop like fine motor skills.
And then you just pop. It's crazy how tedious it is, but they love it. And it's, it's interesting. I never did any of this shit.
Nope.
I never did any of that stuff.
I memorized all the capitals in Europe when I was in 6th grade. My teacher scared the hell out of me. I think I still remember them.
Belgium. Belgium.
Damn it. I used to be so good at this.
Isn't it Brussels?
Probably.
Or is it Antwerp?
No, it's not. It's not that. I mean, and this was because I'm old enough that I believe it was while the Soviet Union was still in place.
Czechoslovakia.
Prague.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Tom Wilbur says, always great to see Jay and Frank on this wonderful show. Happy Thanksgiving. I hate this show. Me too, Tom. Hold on, let me put Tom in there because that just came in. Tom Wilbur. Jason Dufresne says, I'm gay. R.I.P. Matt, forever in our hearts.
Jeez.
Now, just keep him in your prayers because I'm just hoping that, everybody has a turnaround.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Dufresne. That's not right. Anyway, Jeannie Yankee fan says, happy Thanksgiving, Frank and Jay. Thanks for all that you do.
I think I even had East Berlin and West Berlin. Holy crap. I'm remembering the map now. So it was East Berlin was, East Germany, West Germany. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Berlin was East Germany. West Germany was, you remember the capital of West Germany?
No.
Bern, I believe.
I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Here we go. Geography time.
I'm glad it's coming back.
Yeah, it's starting to come back. I'm getting there.
That's coming back. Let's see here. Nathan says, what a great recovery from Monday to Tuesday. Last night's show was so effing good. Happy Wednesday and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Nathan. Oh, that played on the screen before.
Oh.
The Revolution, that played on the screen before too. The Megs says, these holiday eve streams are one of my favorite things. Frank, we've been playing 1990s Macy's Thanksgiving Day parades all day. Nostalgia ASMR, yes please. Happy Thanksgiving, Franklies and family. 1990s Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, when we had staff and a little bit extra money and we were doing all the shows on Quite Frankly.tv, which I'd love to bring the network programming back one day when we're doing a little bit better in that department. But it was primarily 80s and 90s Thanksgiving Day parades. They're all in full with the commercials, which is the best part.
Yeah, I know. And it used to be the part you hated, but now it's the best part.
You used to be.
Yeah.
I wish maybe we could watch some. You know what? On the flip side tonight, let's watch some old commercials.
One of my favorite things, I actually got to go back and correct myself. West Germany was not Bern, Bonn. Bonn, Bonn. Bern, I think, was Switzerland. Sweden?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
Bonn was West. Sorry. Anyway, I said the audience was going to kill me if I didn't get that right. To a country that doesn't exist anymore.
Somebody probably already corrected you.
I know, right? No, I love that comment about like the eaves. One of my favorite things was, or is still, like tonight, I'll be on a late night drive, and normally I would be listening to a show like this on a late night drive, driving, back to Boston for a holiday. So, I just think it's really fun to be a part of creating that for somebody else if they're on the road or they're sitting in if you're sitting in an airport right now, send in a super chat and let us know, something like that, because it's just fun for me because I've always been on the other end of that. And since I've been on this show, I've been able to be a part of the other side of it, which is really fun.
I love that idea that right now, because that was always a big thing for me, was the accessibility of the radio medium. That you could be in your car, in traffic, whatever the hell it is, and you're listening to something that is either broadcast from in the middle of your city or a nearby city, or it's being syndicated and hopped across the damn world. Mm-hmm. And it's bringing together all people through one, the human voice that is coming from so many miles away and into this receiver, and it's all in real time, and you can call into it. Yeah. Even with old world technology, primitive cell phone, you can call in from the road. Mm-hmm. The fact that as long as the service is up, there's somebody out there listening to this in their car.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
Oh, yeah.
Live,
I do. I actually listen to you quite a bit in the car when because I try to travel at night because it's just better than sitting in traffic. So very often I'm listening to you in the car. In fact, I try to time it so that if I leave too late, then I end up getting there after when you're done. And then I'm like, great, what am I going to do for the last 2 hours of this trip?
Yeah, so. I know. I can't go on forever.
I'm like, come on, Frank, stay on a little longer.
All right, here's a couple more. I think these are funny. The Megs says, these holiday eve streams. Thank you again, Meg. It's really, I have you in the running over here. Now, this is funny. I got three super chats in a row from Lee Demon. And Lee Demon said, commies are like fat people. They disgust me. And then he says, again, commies are like fat people. They disgust me.
Okay.
And then the third one was, I've been taking BCP. It's BCP. It's BPC.
BCP is Black Conservative Patriot.
Every once in a while, Lauren says BCP too.
That's great.
I've been taking
I never thought of that.
BPC 157 and TB 500. It healed my pinched nerve, but not my hatred for liberals.
No, it's fair.
So
it can't do everything.
Lee's having a good time out there working through something, and I'm glad you're on my side. And then ST says, so thankful for Frank and Jay, and quite frankly's. God bless you all. Much love, ST. Then Tugboat McFly. Thank you. So that's over there on
Tugboat McFly.
Yeah, on Twitch, and Twitch has been coming to life again.
Good.
People are finding the show, and they're subscribing and showing up, and it's wonderful. So there you go. Oh, Deus Volt says, happy extra Thanksgiving to your family, Frank, and to Jay. Enjoy every second with your loved ones. Thank you. And Deus, you are already in the running. Just make sure. Yes. Okay. And over on Rumble, Tommy Jekyll says, no one here, mind you. I was told some years ago that I would encounter many opportunities to keep my mouth shut. Take advantage of every one of them. Well, there you go. Tommy's in the running. And then we're going to get into some other things here.
Is this drawing tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It was last night and tonight.
Oh.
Giving this away. Kiss Chaos says, hi, Frank and Jay and the Franklies. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Kiss Chaos. It's good to have you out there. See? I'm telling you. Jay Semo says, happy Thanksgiving, Frank, and to your whole family also. It's same to you. And Dana the Powerful says, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. May your turkey be tender and moist. Ooh. Oh, Lauren doesn't like that M word.
I used a lot of really poor descriptors when we were making the pate. Thank God that
slippery.
did not. Thank God that didn't affect the end result.
Oh, dude, you want to know something? People loved that stream from the kitchen.
Oh, really?
And I've had at least a half a dozen people say, hey, you got to do that again.
Okay.
Sporadically, whatever. I think my mother-in-law actually even suggested that you show everybody the marshmallow recipe.
Okay.
Like how to make the marshmallow.
All right. We need a little bit of equipment for that, but we can do it. We can definitely do it.
Merlin Marvel says, I would be over the moon if you had Rachel Wilson on the show. I admire her so much. She's been on the show, and I'm trying to, I know that she has a new book coming out, and when that comes out, I'm going to insist she comes back. But, I also remind her every once in a while, if she and Andrew are ever passing through the tri-state area, because they travel a lot to do debates and all that other stuff, that'd be awesome to have them both sitting in here one night. That'd be great. I'm sure that'll happen sometime. 2026 is going to be so fucking big.
Telling you.
Let it be.
People they don't even realize how big yet. They don't even realize.
Let it be, Lord. Let it be. Okay. All right. So let's get into this Campbell's thing.
Oh.
Because it's 8:20. Get into this. We do the running. We do the silver drawing. And then on the flip side, I've got some funny reels to watch.
Okay.
And we got to go to some Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade streams and look for the commercial breaks.
Look for the commercial breaks.
Especially those Folgers commercials where everybody wakes up in the morning, they go down in the kitchen. And
the best part of waking up?
Yeah. The Folgers commercials were the best.
Yeah. I didn't even like coffee back then.
Yeah, and the coffee's not even really that good.
No.
But still, okay, so Campbell's Soup. Executive calls its product food for poor people, a lawsuit alleges. Let's see here. A Campbell's Soup Company executive has been put on temporary leave after he allegedly referred to the firm's offerings as shit for fucking poor people. A remark purportedly caught on audio recording and attributed to him and a former employee's wrongful termination lawsuit. The lawsuit was filed last Thursday in Wayne County Circuit Court in Michigan by Robert Garza, who had joined Campbell's New Jersey headquarters remotely in September 2024 as a security analyst. Garza alleges he was fired in January after he raised concerns about comments made by Martin Bali, Campbell's vice president of information technology, including referring to one of the company's ingredients as bioengineered meat.
Yeah.
while going off on a racist tirade. So it was even racist. The lawsuit recounts that Garza met with Bali in November 2024 to discuss his salary. However, Garza alleges the meeting turned into an hour-long rant by Bali, during which he disparaged the quality of Campbell's products and customers, made racist comments about Indian employees. Oh, well, I probably agree with him then. and I'm joking. And admitted to coming to work while high on marijuana edibles. You know, you know what?
Depends on what you do.
This guy, I want to talk to the VP myself. He admits that it's shit.
Yeah.
But you know, the problem is that he's keeping it to himself and he's taking a paycheck. That's the problem there. In audio recordings captured by Garza after sensing that something wasn't right, which were later reviewed by the Michigan news outlet WDIV, a voice can be heard saying, "We have shit for fucking poor people." The voice adds, "Who buys our shit? I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. It's not healthy now that I know. It's not healthy now that I know what's fucks in it. Bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer."
That's the crazy one, man. That's we need to know if that's what they're doing over there. And because I've seen plenty of
3D printed, like mystery meat.
Yes, absolutely.
Allegedly, he said, "I don't eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer." He allegedly referring to Campbell's employees of Indian heritage. The voice continues, "Fucking Indians don't know a fucking thing. Like they couldn't think for their fucking selves." He says he felt pure disgust after the meeting, but kept the recording private until January. Oh man.
Yeah, this was 2024, right?
That's not too long ago. And, well, Jay, wait, what the hell was that just came in? There's something that just came in. Wait.
One of the
Campbell's soup with make you gay and dead.
Campbell's soup.
Oh, it doesn't do the gay.
Yeah, how do I make that happen?
I don't know.
I want to hear the gay.
Campbell's soup with make you gay and dead.
Oh, I skipped a few A's.
If you want to be gay and dead,
eat Campbell's soup. We just created a new ad campaign.
Campbell's soup will make you gay and dead.
I mean, so we were talking about this earlier today, Frank. So let's approach this from a different angle. So, you know, I know sometimes people tell me it's really hard.
Campbell's soup is made of people.
That too. Soylent Green. You know, people struggle finding ways to incorporate healthy foods into their lives, okay? I get that. But let's look at it from another perspective. This is not the first time that an employee or a CEO or a VP or whoever he was or somebody high up in a company basically trashed their own product, refuses to eat it themselves. I mean, if you need motivation to start changing the way you do things, at least changing the way you eat, use this. Like, these people hate you. Like, this guy has such contempt for you, and yet he still continues to work. If he really cared, wouldn't he just quit the company and be like, "I can't do this anymore. It's not right. It's, you know, we're just making slop for poor people." No, he stays there, collects the money that you pay him by buying Campbell's soup. I mean, and you may think Campbell's soup is like the least offensive. I'm not so sure anymore. Maybe once upon a time it was fine, but I have a lot of questions about the bioengineered foods and the 3D printed meats. But I wanted to give you another example of this because I just went looking for like other examples of executives or people in industries in the food industry that don't eat their own food. So this is Bob Drain. He was a high-level product development executive and creator of Lunchables, you know, Kraft Lunchables. Drain's daughter, Monica Drain, another food industry insider, she revealed that the family avoids Lunchables due to their processed nature and health risks, including high sodium preservatives and lack of nutrition. She describes them as junky and awful, stating that the family eats healthfully instead and doesn't allow those products in their home, despite them being her father's invention. This echoes a broader admission so there's books written about this and everything like that. So that's another example. And I want to give you one more. Howard Moskowitz. Now, I have actually talked about him in several lectures that I've given at the health retreats because this was the guy that developed Bliss Point. And if you don't know what Bliss Point is, Bliss Point is a scientific amalgamation of salt, sugar, and fat, the perfect combination, by the way, not found in nature, to basically hack your satiety mechanisms and tap into that dopamine signaling reward pathway for food. So Doritos are the perfect example of that, right? They get the right amount of crunch, the right amount of salt, the right amount of fat to make you just, Lay's potato chips, another example. They even put it right on their bag. Bet you can't eat just one, right? This is science. This guy, I think psychophysics is the actual term for what this guy does. He was hired after he left Harvard to help create rations for the military that could hijack their satiety mechanisms because the soldiers were under eating because the rations were so they were just poor tasting.
Just bad.
Yeah. So he made them hyper palatable. So the U.S. Army hired him. So Moskowitz, a food industry consultant and executive lead developer for companies like PepsiCo, he created cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper. Moskowitz pioneered Bliss Point formulations to maximize salt, sugar, and fat for addiction. Admittedly, he personally avoids soda due to the dental and metabolic health risks. When offered a can of his own creation, he refused, calling it terrible and overwhelming, highlighting internal awareness that these products are engineered for overconsumption rather than safety. I have a list here. I'm not going to go through them. I just want to empower you guys when you're listening to this stuff. I know that a lot of these foods taste good. I know people make fun of me like, Jay's a robot. He doesn't eat real food.
You don't.
I do eat real food. I don't eat the processed food, but I'm not denying that they're not good. But I wanted to show you the backside of this when Frank brought this up.
Tell me that a McDonald's cheeseburger is fun to eat, but it's not good for you.
Oh, sure. I told you before.
It is delicious.
Yeah, I told you before. After gigs, the 24-hour McDonald's that was in the town over from us was always where we would end up. I would get a triple quarter pounder at 2 a.m.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So everybody can change is the moral of the story.
Right.
One day you could be eating triple quarter pounders in a drive-thru at 2 a.m. and the next day you could be in Frank's kitchen making pate.
Hey, wait a second. Let me ask you a question real before you get back to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's say it comes down to somebody said you got a gun to your head.
Oh no.
It is 12:15 in the morning. You got a gun to your head. You have to eat something.
Okay.
Are you going to have a bowl of organic 365 wheat waffles cereal, or are you going to have a quarter pounder from McDonald's?
Who broke into my house and made me this offer?
Eat this. What is it? Quarter pounder or a bowl of cereal?
Can I just have the meat and get rid of the buns?
No.
Oh, you're killing me. Boy, you know what? I guess I'd go with the burger. It's probably the least offensive because it's going to be the highest in protein.
Okay.
I mean, a bowl of cereal is just completely useless.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
But if I had to get up and someone had a gun to my head and I had a choice, I'd say, can I just have some cottage cheese? And that's great.
And then that's when he gets you, he butts you over the head.
Can I go back to bed now?
Yeah, go to sleep. Okay, go continue.
No, I mean, so I was really kind of done. I just wanted to highlight the fact that most of the time these foods they're not made for health. They're not made for anything, despite what they say on the box, despite their convenience. They're certainly made for convenience. In fact, there's a great article if you guys want to read this. It's called The Science of Addictive Junk Food. I've never heard of this website, koja.com. It's a really interesting article about a New York Times piece that was published all about this. And they go through all of this kind of stuff and they talk about Moskowitz and all of the things that he did to create foods. But the point is, he worked in a lab with computers, not in a kitchen. The whole idea of this was to make a food that is designed to addict and keep you eating more. So the question you have to ask yourself if you're struggling with this stuff is, most people can't white knuckle this, or they can't just incrementally remove these foods. They just got to start eating real foods and get rid of this stuff. Don't buy these kinds of things and have them in your house because they're only going to cause you to have to use willpower, which has a limited shelf life from most of the people that I deal with. So I just wanted to approach this from another angle. If you're struggling, how about the righteous angle? These people literally make food that they wouldn't eat or feed their own children. Why the hell are you doing that?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So take another angle from this. I try to approach it from the metabolic angle, which I know a lot of you guys appreciate and respect. But how about just from the self-empowerment angle of these people make shit and they want me to feed it to my kids and they get rich and I get sick. Is that a paradigm that you want to continue to support?
No. And that's again, it doesn't give them any, the fact that they're admitting it. It's bad. It's been that just proves it's parasitical.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you can make real food. You can make quality food. You can, because
well, because we're just on the heels of all this EBT SNAP stuff, and how it was like for a couple of days it became a civil rights issue.
Right.
That people, some people suggested that perhaps you shouldn't be able to use your EBT card to go and buy a sleeve of Chips Ahoy cookies.
Right.
That perhaps if this charade is going to go on even a day longer, that we should make sure that people who need the assistance should be able to get a carton of eggs, a bottle of milk, whatever the hell it is. I mean, some flour, bake your own cookies.
Yeah.
Milk, eggs, a little bit of sugar, bake your own damn cookies. And it's like, that was offensive to people. And then you go, you want to talk about never making the gap about, hey, this is our life and all that. Don't tell me what to eat. Like, you literally can't feed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if that's the case, then it just stands to reason that a bare minimum standard for this program should be to ensure that you are in better shape to perhaps be able to go and become productive again.
Yes.
Or even just be able to walk. And but again, like what you're saying here with Lunchables, with the chicken, or the first thing that we're doing with Campbell's, it's like, here are the people making you the food that you're saying we have a right to go out and buy and stuff. It's like,
that's what you're defending.
Why are you defending them?
Right. That's why I brought it up. I thought it was just a different angle on things. And that's like the soft bigotry of low expectations, right? It's like, well, you should allow these people to eat their junk food. That's what they want. No, these foods are made to addict. They most of them, honestly, I work with a lot of people like this. They truly don't know any better. Despite, I walk around with this misconception sometimes that people know a little bit about nutrition. Most people don't know anything about nutrition, and it's not their fault. But I have to remind myself constantly, all right, Jay, go back to square one. Like, what is a whole food? Because some people don't know. They don't know that, like, cereal isn't a whole food. That is a highly processed food with usually vitamins and minerals stripped out, fortified and enriched later on with the synthetic versions of the vitamins and minerals that were originally in there. So it's just wild that we've gotten to this place, but I don't blame the people. The system is a complete disaster, but you have to work it from both angles. I've always said this. You have to fix the system, sure, which is what RFK is trying to do in a million different ways, but you also have to educate the people so that they can, like in this situation, say, well, look, these people are making foods they wouldn't even eat. Do you want to feed this to yourself or your children? So I think that's a valid way of going about it. And even Mark Sisson put out a great tweet the other day, just said something simple like, we could drastically change this country if we just gave every kid in a school lunchroom milk and eggs every day. And it's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, just that one basic thing. You get them highly nutrient dense foods, full of healthy fats and protein. What a huge difference that would be for children. And we can't even do things like that because the food industry has hijacked everything, including our politicians. So it's very frustrating from my point of view. And that's why I go back to fighting all of these influencers online who I believe are again, it's fine to question, but when you're putting out information that I believe is actually harmful to people, I get really upset. And if you're making money on it, I can't stand you.
Yeah, I know. $7,000. All right, so here's what we're going to be doing. I wanted to do this. Here, take a look at this. Here's a minute-long video. This is the cost of Thanksgiving dinner in 1981.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I can't wait to go vintage on the Flipside tonight and just sit back and watch things and observe people, because this is also my favorite time of year to go onto YouTube and just watch VHS home videos, recordings of just Macy's. People at Macy's, the way that it was decorated in 1993.
Man,
People-
malls were a big deal back then.
Oh,
I remember going as a kid.
You know
and,
what?
like,
We're
seeing
watching
all
that
the
after this.
displays.
Hold on.
Okay.
We're watching that after this. I'm not waiting.
Thanksgiving dinner 1981 will not be as expensive as some people may think. We took a typical list of Thanksgiving dinner items to 4 different grocery chains in the Albuquerque area to compare prices. We purchased items to feed 6 adults. Here's what we found. A 12-pound turkey averaged $6.69. The average cost for 12 ounces of stuffing was $1.04. 15 ounces of cornbread mix averaged 69 cents. 2 15-ounce cans of green beans averaged 76 cents. 3 pounds of yams averaged $1.59, and a 7-ounce jar of marshmallow cream was 57
Marshmallow
cents.
cream.
1 16-ounce can of cranberry sauce cost an average of 57 cents. A 16-ounce can of pumpkin also cost an average 57 cents. Mincemeat ranged in price from $2.29 to $2.99 for a 28-ounce jar.
28 ounces.
2 9-inch pie crust averaged 65 cents, and 8 ounces of whipped topping averaged 73 cents at the 4 stores. The total show the most expensive of the 4 stores we shopped was Furr's, with a total cost of $17.83 for the items, followed by Smith's at $16.52.
Less than $20.
Unbelievable.
Dude, even if you hold on. See, here's the thing. Hold on. Wait a second.
Wow. You know what I didn't see in that video either? I didn't see any obesity on rascal scooters.
No, I know.
You see that a lot, like in those older videos. You'll start to realize like what a decline the population has sustained.
See, here's the thing. You say, oh well, you have to count for inflation, and obviously, and somebody was in the chat over here in the comments said it. You should all know the median salary in 1981 was $18,800.
Right.
But still, when you think about this,
and Save at $15.77, and Albertsons at the low end with a total of $15.75 for all items.
So if you went to Albertsons in 1981 and you got yourself a turkey, the cornbread, the stuffing, the cranberry sauce, the mincemeat, whatever the hell, all that stuff, you can walk out of there. You can give them an Andrew Jackson, and you can walk out of there with enough money to pay for gas and tolls.
Yeah.
And now it's one thing to say, well, it was 1981, but still, I just threw in a calculator over here. A 1981 $20 bill has 2 main values. Its face value of $20, its potential, whatever. But here, see. Wait. No, buying power.
Yeah, you could do it as a percentage of your income too, and that would tell you something.
Hold on. What is $20 in 1981 power today? Hold on. $20 in 1981 has the same buying power as about $71.28 today, based on Consumer Price Index. That means that what cost $20 in 81 would cost approximately $71.28 in 2025. Okay. The reason why I bring this up is no. I mean, seriously. Everybody at home, if you've already, I hope you have, if you're hosting or anything like that, maybe you're doing the smart thing and it's a family potluck. Everybody's bringing one thing each to go easy. But if you're hosting, I mean, you spent $300 to $500.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. You go back to 1981 with your $20 bill and you're getting a complete Thanksgiving meal for less than $20.
Right.
But to say, well, you have to adjust for inflation is not all you have to adjust for.
No.
Because just the $20, becomes $71.28.
You couldn't do that for $71.28.
But that's less than a third, way less than a third of what you spent the last couple of weeks to buy Thanksgiving.
Sure.
So that's incredible to me.
Yeah. And then of course you also have to go to quality, which is always where I go, right? Like the food is actually becoming lower quality. And, 1981, we already had the dietary guidelines were originally 1977. So by 1981, they was starting to seep into the mainstream, meaning that the food industry realized that the government was now prescribing diet to its citizens, a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet for the first time ever in human history. And the food companies started to understand where this was going. And so they started to find ways to suck the fat, all the good healthy fats out of foods, replace it with either crappy industrial seed oils or just get rid of the fat altogether and just dump a pile of sugar in there because we got to make it taste good. And no one seems to care about sugar because at that time, remember, in the 50s and 60s, the sugar industry paid Harvard scientists to sort of shift the blame from fat causing heart disease, from sugar causing heart disease to fat. So you had that complication there right before the dietary guidelines. So everything was about to change in 1981 from not only the price perspective, but I always tell people this, you've got to also look at the food quality perspective because food quality directly impacts your physiology, which directly impacts chronic disease rates. So you may think, hey, I'm getting away with paying a little bit less for this, that, or the other thing today because the processed foods are so cheap. But in the end, like I always say, you either pay the farm now or you pay the pharmacy later. So there's a whole other hidden cost that we haven't even got into yet. And that was just about to start happening with force in 1981. It was just a few years after the dietary guidelines were originally, launched to the American public.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was a crazy time.
It is. Well, it sounds like it. Well, I wasn't even alive.
I was.
I still had 4 years. I was
pissed. I was alive and I was pissed.
Oh man, just so mad. Rumble Grandma Grateful says Happy Thanksgiving, Jay and Franklies. Sid7 says hail to the chat. Jay, I am the official fan club winner of Queen Trivia Contest 2003. I even got a signed certificate from Brian and Roger. What? Happy Thanksgiving.
What? Do you know? I don't even know if you know this, Frank.
What?
Did you know? I don't remember what year it was. Man, I was working at Guitar Center, so it must have been, it was probably around 2011, 2012. Queen did a contest. They were creating their own tribute band, like sanctioned, I think one of the first sanctioned tribute bands for the band. So it was called the Queen Extravaganza, and they were handpicking the whole band. So everybody had to submit, singers, drummers, guitar players, and bassists. And everybody submitted. And Roger Taylor, Brian May, they handpicked the people that went to the semifinal round. You know that I was handpicked?
Really?
Yeah. I went to the semifinal round. I was one of, I don't remember how many of us. I think there was 600 singers, and I was down to into the 20s. There's 20-something singers. And then, ironically, you know how I ended up not making it to the finals? It was because it was a YouTube online voting thing, which who knows how compromised it was. You know what I mean? I had no online presence at that time. I had no Franklies. So it was just me out there going, "Hey, vote for me," and I didn't make it. And the guy who ended up winning, I think, had an unfair advantage because Ellen DeGeneres, another reason not to like that woman, invited that dude on her show and showcased him, and so he won. I was like, "How is this fair? How is this fair at all?" So that loser, sorry, he ended up winning.
You're not salty.
I'm not sore at all, but I just want to let you know that so you want to put your Queen Trivia against my Queen Trivia. I also have I don't know. I would like to have a little battle of we should do a Queen Trivia night one night. Who was that in the chat?
Is that was, let's see here.
I love that.
That was Sid7.
Sid7.
I would do that. I would hold it. Oh, I would love to do trivia and get the audience involved somehow.
Let's do it sometime.
How do we have to think about how to do that stuff.
Okay.
And when you come on one night, we should have games lined up with clever ways to bring the audience in.
I could be right now setting myself up for an ass kicking because he may be just way better than me, but I know a lot about Queen. So
okay. Idiot Grimlock says disabled veteran can use a little help at home if anyone is interested. And then he put a link in the chat room over there on Rumble. It's part of the super chat, so go check that out.
Grimlock, that's a great name.
Thank you for looking out, Grimlock. All the best to you and your family this Thanksgiving. All right. Okay, so I don't know. I don't want to talk about the robot proof jobs and all that shit. I think we're doing a lot of great stuff right now. We have good stuff that we're going to be doing on the flip side. Oh, here's one. Connor wrote into the show, said, Frank, this was in an email. I put it in my notes for tonight. Oh. Let's see here. He says, can you do me a favor and let J Gulinello know that he's a saint? My wife is dealing with hyperemesis, Hyperemesis?
Oh, probably excessive vomiting.
I don't know. Since she's been pregnant, basically all day morning sickness.
Oh yeah.
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 Since she's been pregnant, it's all day morning sickness, not able to eat anything. And as soon as I made bone marrow butter, she's been scarfing down food. Thank you so much. Great show, by the way. How would that?
Wow.
What would the bone marrow butter do to somebody in that situation, especially a pregnant woman?
You know, that is all I can do is speculate, because honestly, I don't think anybody can answer that question. This is like the whole philosophy of the innate intelligence of the human body, especially a female body that is in the process of creating life, right? And that is nurturing life. My guess would be that her body knew. So the theory goes like this, that your body will repel a lot of things if you don't need it, nutrient wise. Now, again, pregnancy, it's a little bit dicey because there could be other things involved. But on the other side of that would be, if the body knows what it needs, specific vitamins, minerals, nutrients, a lot of fat soluble vitamins in bone marrow, a lot of minerals in bone marrow. As soon as you taste it, the taste buds have a direct connection to the rostral parts of the brain, and that could be a signal that this is exactly what we need. And of course, then that would upregulate appetite and would kill the emetic response and make you ready
the nausea.
And make you ready to consume. So my theory would be that her body, some nutrient or multiple nutrients in that bone marrow butter she was dying for, and the body was just like, yes, as soon as it sensed it was there, it was like, bring it on. So that's probably what happened. But the truth is, no one really knows what those triggers are. The human body is amazing. This is why I tell people, when you are sick or even just when you're really craving something, you should stop and think about what you're craving. Now, we're not talking sugar cravings. We're talking like real food cravings. Like when you fast, you get in touch with your body and you start to remember what real food is. And like I said, on the longest fast I've ever done, I've never craved like
a Snickers bar,
Doritos. Never. It's always like, my God, I want a steak so bad. Or I want, it's something like that. You start to realize and really get in touch with your body. And that's what, balancing your blood sugar and creating a low inflammatory environment, those things are really beneficial. And it sounds like that might be what was going on. So that's super cool and totally unexpected and
I know.
Amazing.
No, I got this email that said, "Oh Mel, I'm putting this in immediately right in there."
I want an update.
Yeah, Connor's sending updates. That's good.
Animals do that too, and that's the thing. We've just, when I was originally trained, there were a lot of great doctors that had these things theorized and even had the parts of the brain mapped out. We used to do something called lingual neural testing, LNTs. So that's super interesting, where we would have somebody physically there, obviously, and we would test certain signs like on their rib cage or somewhere, and there were certain signs that were reflexive of certain organs and things like that. And then we would take nutrients. So I would ask you for like a pain threshold. Like I would find like your 6th intercostal space in your ribs, and I'd press on that and I'd say, give me a sensitivity 1 to 10. And some people would like jump the moment I touch them. So like, they're experiencing some pain. And then I would go, looking through my books, and I would find a nutrient that was specific for that organ system. And I would actually just put it on their tongue. So, put your tongue out, put it on their tongue, give them a second to like suck on it, not take it or swallow it or anything, just suck on it. So the body understands what is actually what it has in its mouth and what nutrients are contained in it, because the body is incredibly intelligent. And then I experienced this personally many times. Then I would say, all right, lay back down. And then I would go back to that same point. And I can't tell you how many times people are like, it's gone. Pain's gone. So that's called lingual neural testing. And it's a fascinating thing that I've never gotten back into ever since I left NTA, because when I left NTA, I went right into grad school. So I never really got to go back into that. But that's something that I've always wanted to do more research on now that I have a better and a more complete tool set of like biochemistry and things like that. Because NTA was more about just being a clinician, whereas grad school was about being a clinician, but understanding the depths of human biology and physiology. So that's just another, like a little example. And animals do that all the time. Like you'll see deer and you'll see even dogs sometimes will eat strange things. And usually the theory is that they're looking for specific nutrients to try and fix something because they don't have the ability to communicate what's going on.
Oh yeah, like when dogs are eating grass.
Right. A lot of times they say sometimes they're trying to induce vomiting, or they're, so Very interesting. But yeah, lingual neural testing is a super fascinating thing that I've had personal experience with, and I've had it actually. And, you could say, oh, it's the placebo effect, but I don't explain it to a lot of people because I don't want them to have the placebo effect. Like, I don't tell them what I'm doing. I just go through my functional evaluation, and then I go in my mind, I go, okay, I want to retest this, this, and this, and I want to try these 3 nutrients. And I'll just say, here, put this on your tongue. Like, I don't say, this should lessen your pain, right? Because that would be obviously ruining the control. So it's amazing how many times that stuff happened when I was in school. So make of it what you will, but it's a fascinating area of research. Yeah.
I always love hearing about it. Well, here's what we're going to do. We've got some really great stuff to continue on with into the third hour. That is going to be fun. I've got some reels to watch, and I want to go jump into some old Thanksgiving Day parade commercials. That'll be on the flip side. On the other side of the end credits, I'm going to put that link in the chat room. But let me just rip through all of the pilled messages here. And I have been adding all the names here as we've gone on. Vesper, wishing happy Thanksgiving. Amethyst Cat, Stephen and Lori, wishing thanks and happy Thanksgiving. Dub Helix, happy Thanksgiving. Amethyst Cat, Twisted Sticks, Gambera, Awake Not Woke. Corey J wants to get in another chance to win the silver. Dark Heart Hemi with an EMP. And Dark Heart, I love you. Thank you guys and gals so much.
Dark Heart Hemi.
Yeah, Dark. It's a great name.
Yeah.
Been around for a while.
Yeah.
Molly Artie, happy Thanksgiving to you and Jamal, as well as all the Franklies. Making pies and stuffing this year, keto style. I hope no one in the family notices.
Nah, they never do. Almond flour crusts are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and cheese crusts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love those too. Silly Boar, thank you. Sentinel, over the river and through the woods to Grandma's house we go to celebrate Thanksgiving with Quite Frankly TV streaming on the car sound system, having a great holiday. It's all happening right now. That's fantastic.
That's cool. That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear people on the road because I'm going to be on the road with you in probably about an hour.
Yeah. Well, Deansy says, hello, Juanito, the fun-hating food Nazi.
At least I'm fun.
You know what it is?
It's a fun Nazi.
I'll give you an example of what it's just like. If you ever have the chance to go out and eat with Jay, it's almost like you're going out with a priest.
Oh, okay.
Like, hey, Father so-and-so is going to join us for tonight. He's cool. He's with us.
You got to prepare the rest of the party.
But when I say that because when Jay's, you have to assume that when Jay is analyzing the menu, there's all these other calculations going into it, and it's just running through several layers of filtration.
Like an operator looking at the matrix,
right? So it's just like I'm with clergy or something, like food clergy. That's what it feels like.
But have I ever? And we've been out to eat. Have I ever made anybody ever feel uncomfortable?
Never. I've even seen Jay have a dessert.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen Jay have ice cream.
Oh yeah, you did.
He is human.
I do think it's funny that people feel the need to document those events.
They have to
take pictures and send them.
I saw it. Yeah. It's like Sasquatch shitting in the woods. Let's see here. 123 SKG says, sorry about the passing of your cat. What was her name? It was a unique one. Pyretta Blaze. In fact, let me put that up here too. We're going to listen to the ending of Pyretta Blaze during the flip side. I love the ending of such a great ending. I'm going to play that on the drums sometime soon here too. Zoso Dude says they should tie the president of Campbell's to a chair and have him watch as they force feed his grandchildren his gruel.
Yikes.
That's like that movie Seven.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How they kill the guy with the glutton.
The gluttony.
The glutton. They tied him to a chair and just force fed him SpaghettiOs. It's all like canned stuff.
Yeah.
He just exploded. Man, I got to watch Seven again.
That's a good movie.
I know. Delona, thank you for the cookies. Moira, happy Thanksgiving, Frank and Jay. Frankly, there's much to be grateful for this year. Todd is in rehab and is regaining movement and strength on his right side, hoping for a full recovery soon.
Excellent.
So happy. Let me put Moira in there, and we're almost done. Amethyst Cat with the cookie. Shoot. Boom.
Delicious.
Okay. All right. Let me make sure that's all. We're all good and well here. Jay Britz says Campbell's soup is made of people. That was before. All right, we're good. Okay, let's see here. I got 69 names.
Whoa, that's a lot of people.
That's a perfect amount. Let's go. And the winner of tonight's shirt and portrait and a nice Home Alone, we got Johnny over here. I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead. 1, 2, 10. You're getting that over here. Boom. So that's for your Christmas tree. And then, of course, the 1 troy ounce of silver. And let me tell you something else. It's only going to, I've got gold backs I'm giving away next week.
Oh,
I got a stack of
when am I on the show again?
Yeah, look at this. Look at these gold backs.
Oh my.
Now they are 1/2 gold backs. So I'm going to give them away in pairs. 1/2
they look fake.
Oh, they're beautiful though.
Wow.
These are the Florida gold backs.
It's like Back to the Future money.
Yeah, but
That's amazing.
Each one of these is 1/2000th an ounce of gold.
Wow.
So this right here, a half a gold back, is essentially about $5.
Wow.
So it's like the gold backs are wonderful. Several states are printing them where it makes gold
usable.
Usable.
Wow.
Like you can put this down and get yourself some milk. $5.
That is awesome.
So I'm going to be giving these in pairs so that people can get 1/1000th an ounce of gold, and we'll do that. We'll pair that with some fun stuff next week, and
I'm going to come up with a new pseudonym to enter the contest.
you should. Hey, why not? If you throw it down, it's in there. Anyway, who's going to win tonight's treasure trove? Here we go. Random name picker, and get the hell out of town. It's Lee Demo.
Wow.
That's the guy. Oh, Lee Demon. Sorry, Lee Demon. That's the guy who said that that liberals disgust him and he can't take it anymore.
Yeah, and he was taking the Wolverine peptide.
The peptide.
BPC and TB500.
Lee, you've got a couple of days. Email me immediately, frank@quitefrankly.tv, and good for you.
Nice job.
And I don't know if he's new or not, but congratulations to you, Lee, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And but either way, it's been great to have everybody on, and there's more. There's more coming up. It's 9:00 on the dot.
Don't nobody go nowhere.
Don't go anywhere. In fact, look into the chat rooms. I'm going to be dragging you on through to the flip side. And like last night's show was so fantastic afterwards. Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
I'm going to miss it.
All right. Well, Jay, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah, you too, my friend.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody at home. Please, before you leave, like the show. Say some last things in the chat room. And if you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment. Comment throughout, whatever the hell it is. It helps. It helps, and do it for anybody you enjoy. And also, just throwing it out there, we now have memberships available. It's been opened up to us on YouTube. And I am taking that as an opportunity to make it another official way that you can support the show and get exclusive content like Sunday stream links, other things there. All the perks are laid out. I kind of made a mishmash of some things with mailbag and some video greetings and stuff. But more in particular, whenever we hit 100 members on YouTube, I think I'm going to cut off the AdSense for reruns. I don't know. I don't know what it is. When we monetized, because I wanted to see if it impacted reach and all that stuff. And I'm able to actually say 18 to 22 minutes every time, if you're watching live and you don't have premium, you'll get an ad every 18 minutes or so.
Okay.
Which I thought was reasonable.
Yeah.
But apparently people who are watching it after the fact are getting hit like every 6 to 8 minutes, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's no way I can adjust that.
Yeah.
So if we can get to 100 members on YouTube, eventually at what time, I'll start, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll start turning off the monetization after it's all, after it's live.
I meant to ask you this question. What are these badges that I was hearing about? I mean, we can talk about it on the other side if you want to, but
Yeah. Well, because you're in there.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you.
No,
I want to understand this a little bit better because I heard that the picture was less than flattering.
it's the Fat J.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's become iconic. It's become.
To who?
I guess to me.
Well, I'll have to see it again now. I have to put it on screen again in the after hours.
I love that picture of you because it has such a face of worry, but almost acceptance and unhappiness. But you're also very determined to eat the cheeseburgers.
And see it again.
Hold on.
We don't have to do it now. We can do it on the flip.
Wait. Okay, we'll do it on the flip side. But no. Well, that's another thing that's created for members apparently is that there's special chat room emojis.
Okay.
I already put in like a lava lamp and a UFO and a chicken nugget and stuff.
No, I'm honored to make the list. You know, I mean, so that's great.
Well, the badges is for people that you graduate through that all the months and years you remain a member.
Right.
So we'll see. I think that you're like year 2 or 3 or so. I don't know. Anyway,
you should make me year 4 because I've been here 4 years.
Could be. King's in there, a whole bunch of people. We'll catch you on the flip. Look in the chat room for the link. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. I will be live on Friday, on Black Friday. It'll be around a midday show from home in Studio B. We'll have some coffee together. We'll have some fun. I love midday shows at Studio B. And yeah, it'll be a great weekend for all. And I'll talk to you soon. Check it out.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience and so many people to thank. So I'm just going to thank you all collectively. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. My family and I appreciate you all, and thank you for sticking with us. There's a lot of changes going on, but I know that we'll be able to shoulder them because of you guys, and that's something I'm very grateful for, and all the best to you. I'll see you in a little bit, and as always, you can email the show at any time. Let me know what you think, and become a sponsor. We can always use those. Nighty-night. Catch you on the flip.
I want you to know that I've smoked pot.